Hey everyone, welcome to Maybe Daily, the podcast that we do maybe, but definitely don't do daily. It's been forever. It's been like what, since fucking September? Maybe before that? No, I'm guessing September was the last episode I recorded. And as you may know through my various blog posts, on my tech blog, I'm not the biggest fan of solo podcast recording. I'd rather have guests that can talk to, bounce off of each other, like that can talk, go back and forth, laugh, exchange, have a drink. And yeah, that is my favorite format for podcasting. But I've been trying that solo thing because, I still want to try and see how it looks like for me to put content out there. And I don't have a title yet for the video. I'm guessing I'm going to go for something like Requiem for a Coon or Black Lives Matter. Not quite sure which. And I'm guessing as we go through, you're going to find out why either of these titles would be appropriate. So, Black Lives Matter. Blue Lives Matter. Trans Lives Matter. Dogs Lives Matter. Whole Lives Matter. And if you disagree with any of the propositions, you are objectively an evil person. That's it. That's the... Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and I will see you in 3 months. Bye. But, if you want more, we can just jump into why I am getting into this today. So, a couple of days ago, New Year's Eve, that was like 30 something hours ago, I guess, there was that fireworks and drones show that we had in London, featured by the BBC. And there was a tweet from London's mayor, Sadiq Khan, saying some random shit, but posting that video, which features a BLM, the BLM clenched fist logo, right? So nothing against the logo itself. It's just a fist used by the BLM organization, which happens to be used by communists. So do whatever you want with that information. To be fair, you get also Trump using an eagle, and Nazis use an eagle. So if we really go there, maybe everybody's evil and has secret plans to take to dominate the world by whatever means necessary, to give whatever doctrine the upper hand for reasons. But let's not get into that. Let's go back on that tweet from our mayor. So, I went and replied to that tweet, as one does. Why would you support a racist organization? Because I do believe that BLM is a racist organization. I don't think I hadn't made a podcast about that. I did talk about the other side, like people just going on the whole lives matter as a reply to Black Lives Matter, which also I think is wrong. You don't go, let's say, somebody stole my car, and go say, well, my car matters too. Like, bitch, that's not your car that's being stolen. That's this other guy. But that's a different... I already made an episode on this, so go check it out, whatever. Now I want to talk about the side that people are actually worried, scared to talk about. The BLM side. The one that are the good guys. Yes, I'm using quotes for those listening on Spotify and Apple Podcast. But yeah, because I don't think they are the good guys, as I was saying. I tweeted about them being a racist organization. Not because necessarily that what they claim to be their intent is rooted in racism, but more the actions. Because as one say, I think Dr. Peterson was saying, if you want to know what someone's true intentions are, don't look at what they're saying. Look at the outcome. Like, look at the outcome for their actions. So you look, okay, what is the outcome of the actions carried out by BLM so far? Because there's been a bunch of different things. Some woke campaigns here and there, some burning here, some looting there, some peaceful protests, of course, but nobody cares about these, really. But like the core, what captured people's imagination, what got people going places, fighting online, is the violent shit. Yes, there's Antifa, but really, those guys who jump on anywhere where they can make some noise, so we shouldn't really acknowledge these people. So the BLM was really the armed fist of this whole movement, of this whole violence that we saw in the US mostly. It seemed like it was going to come across the UK for a bit, but lucky for us, didn't happen. Maybe because corporations say to all walk around with their black squares and scream BLM, like, yeah, don't burn us, please, some shit like that. Maybe. Or maybe just because there isn't as much divisiveness in this country as there is in the US, which surprises me, considering the whole Brexit thing that went on for the past almost 5 years now. Even though it's different reasons for being divided, one's based on skin colors, and the other one's based on anti-European sentiment. So, where was I? Yes, so that tweet. So I get that tweet, met with a fair amount of support, more than I expected, and a none less fair amount of hate as well, which I expected. To be fair, I actually expected more. I didn't think there would be like there was much more than there should be, obviously, but way less than I expected. But then maybe it's because it didn't get like it didn't catch on fire and didn't go crazy viral, which might have been much worse in that case. But either I don't think the impact would have been that big because the words people were using really didn't mean much to me. Like people, well, basically, so yes, if I go back through things, I didn't actually see the abuse right away. Like I saw it this morning because like I have that Google Alert thing set on my name, so that if anything comes up about me, like mostly in general, it's more like about my blog, or maybe I get nominated for something, or I'm participating in some sort of contest and my name comes up in the contest. Like, okay, cool. That's why I get the alert set up so I can know about it. Because organizations and stuff, they don't necessarily get back to you, but they will use your name for things that they'll be doing. Or if you take part in some interviews and stuff, you may have your name coming up in an article like, oh yeah, that guy said this and that. So that's why I have this alert set up. So this morning I get the alert, I'm like, okay, I don't think I did anything notable recently, so there's really no reason for me to have new alerts, unless they're from my blog. Or, yeah, I really didn't see why this would be there. So then I go check my alerts. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a bunch that's in Twitter related. I really don't see what I could have done also on Twitter, because to me that's the thing. I went out there, said what I thought, then moved on with my life, because really, I'm not one of these going back to go and check back their post and tweet and reply. I just put my thoughts out there, leave them. If maybe I get notifications about them because people that I follow or that follow me reply to these or interact with these, then okay, I'd like to go back and forth with people that either follow me or that I follow, so that can be a way. But if I don't follow people or that they don't follow me, or if the people that reply or interact with me don't follow me, I'm not gonna know about it. Which seems like a good balanced way to use Twitter. You don't want to deal with a bunch of randos you don't know. Well, not too much. So yeah, so I would have actually never seen these if not for these getting traction enough so that Google throws alerts my way. Say, hey, dude, something with your name's, getting a bit big here. So I went to have a look and I saw a tweet from some person. I actually don't remember, and maybe I'll put a screen somewhere in this if I feel like taking time to do that. But yeah, the person's basically calling me a coon. Why do coons have hair like this? Like, that sort of hair. Which, why would the coon have black people hair? I think that's what the question was. Because, that's natural black people hair. Maybe it feels weird to you because you don't have your own hair. But that's a comment for another day. So yeah, so I'm always wondering, but what do a coon hair look like? I've always wondered that to myself, because a lot of people have been called coons recently, like anyone, or any black person speaking up against BLM for being, an organization that's more about black power, it's about power more than racism, really, when it comes down to it. These people get called coons as well. So Terry Crews, he's got bald hair. He doesn't have hair, so I'm like, is that coon hair? Because there's no hair. Zuby, my boy Zuby, so bald as well. Where's the hair? Maybe coons have either no hair or African hair. But then I can point a few others that have very different haircuts. I'm like, okay, so you literally had nothing. You couldn't find anything about me that you could criticize outside of my fairly long, really very much natural black guy hair. African hair, as one would say. You couldn't find anything to insult me but my hair, which is the hair of your ancestors. cool. I guess, maybe you need a little more time to learn, like to get more creative when insulting people, which I probably would take time to do that if I had the room and time to spew hatred out. But I know that myself would be much more creative. Actually, I remember like my girlfriend was telling me once about like people bullying her from her last name. And I was thinking, wow, these people like imaginations. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe that sort of person doesn't have the talent or imagination to be actually creative in the way that they go about bullying people. And like within 10 seconds, I could just come up with 10 different ways of mocking my girlfriend's last name, which, sorry, nobody ever thought about any of these. So either I'm a particularly bad person that happens to do good most of the time, or maybe people that focus on bullying other or really abuse their way are not creative people. And I guess if they were creative, they may be more successful in life and wouldn't have the room in their heart to spew out hatred at others. That's an explanation like another. You can pick whatever you feel like picking. Where was I? So basically, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this abuse going my way. It's just people calling me a coon and making fun of my hair. Yeah, big deal. That's about it. But let's get back. Let's refocus a bit. Let's refocus on BLM. So what is BLM? So BLM organization, Black Lives Matter, very clever marketing people who jumped on the train after black men getting murdered by a cop. Trayvon Martin, I believe. That's the one that made them start their thing. Or at least that's the one where they decided to rename to take on the Black Lives Matter name because, of course, it's more inclusive, but not too inclusive. You'll see what I mean in a second. And so after Trayvon Martin's murder, which obviously disgusting actions, which I don't know that I know the whole story, but from what I know about it, yes, it seems to have been, if not fully racially motivated, at least there might have been some bias that held that murder happen. That might have not happened if there was different, I'd say, pigmentation on either side of the gun. So that's how it started. But then over time, with things like, what's the name of that guy? Robin something. The guy got $10 million from Twitter for existing, or writing his white fragility book. And like the whole looting and burning in the US. It feels like it wasn't so much about social justice, or even about black people getting killed, I'd say, more than others. I guess that's the vibe. That's the vibe you're getting from these people. They're like, yeah, black people are dying more. Oh, yeah, maybe. I have no idea. I really didn't take all that much time looking at stats in the, like, on the whole of the humanity scale. But I looked at some numbers. Some numbers in the US and UK. Seems like people die roughly at the same rate, but then of course if you have an area with more black people, get more black people dying, more white people in other areas, more white people dying. And the whole cops killing more black people, it's bad. It's objectively bad. And actually I feel like it's more about black people dying in situations where they shouldn't die. Like, I'm guessing nobody should die at the end of police, because the point of them is to protect you, etc. Protect and serve, yada yada. Well, that is that the US devised. In Europe, I really don't know what that is. Too many American TV shows, I guess, make me know the US one, but not the one of my own country. Yeah. So where was I? So that whole BM thing, we get to the point where this organization that claims to fight bigotry and racism and intolerance and all these things that are very good things to fight against, really. Objectively good things to fight against. My problem is that these organizations, that organization people that defend it, or that seem to be on their side, seem to be overwhelmingly, I would say, compound of people that are just hangry at life. It's a hanger. Maybe there's definitely injustice out there. Like, we know that injustice against black people, white people, Asian people, but we never hear about these ones because, there's so many that people really don't care. Or maybe it's too far from us. Maybe we don't see enough that we would care. Who knows? Or maybe just because they don't burn anything when things go down. I don't know. I don't know. I'm new to this world. I'm only like 29, so yeah, don't at me. Yeah, but my point is, when you see videos of like black cops getting abused by black and white people alike, hand bending together, holding hands to go scream and spit at a black police officer, you're like, okay, okay, everybody calms down. That's not about racism anymore. You just want power. You just want to show dominance over other people. And you just happen to use that narrative of like, okay, I'm black, these white people are bad to me, or bad to some other black guy. I don't know why, I don't know how. There's no relation with them between them and me whatsoever outside of some immutable characteristic that I was born with and I can do nothing about. And use that to try to take power over others. And you're like, oh, well, that's cool. I mean, that's cool, you want power. A lot of people want power, others want money, some want both. And I'm guessing people at the top of the organization got both. Like, really, they got the money like that. Robin, or D'Angelo, that's the name. Who got like fucking his money from Twitter's CEO for writing his white fragility, etc. Motherfucker's rich. It's good. It doesn't need to care about black lives. I guess he cares so much as it expands his wallet. And that's cool for him. I'm guessing a few other people like that are at the top of the organization getting some more of that cash. I've been seeing actually more outcry recently on some BLM chapters in the US that are not receiving money from donations. And I'm not surprised by that because, again, that is not an organization that's about Black Lives Betterment. It's just about stirring some shit and getting rich in the process. While using some racist tropes like, oh, yeah, no, sorry, black people, you can't do much on your own. You're victims, you're all oppressed. So that's the thing, it's racist, not just racist against white or not, well, it's not just racist against non-black people. I think it's racist against black people as well because it just shows us as a bunch of defenseless victims that can't do anything at life. And the second we're born, color of our skin determines that we will fail at everything we try to do, and therefore that we should not even try to do anything. And I think that's a very dangerous message, because if there's nothing you can do, playing by the rules, going to school, studying, showing up on time, getting to work, or maybe getting creative, creating some business, if there's nothing you can do legally to get a better life or to get a decent, a fair life, what's left? Crime is what's left. That's how you get people justifying this looting, saying, oh yeah, but someone that looked like me 400 years ago, that probably had no relation to me whatsoever, was forced to pick up cotton and getting their hands chopped off when they're suspected of taking a bit of bread. That justifies me going to pick up a fucking TV at the Target over there. And it's nonsense. It's clearly nonsense. But I guess if you're hungry enough, or if you lie enough to yourself, you can get convinced that this is right, that this is fair, that yeah, we got fucked all these years, or people that look like us were being got so much taken away from them, that it justifies us being just the worst kind of people we can be, because that's all the options we get. That's not true. That's not right. That's just wrong. That's how you won't see betterment for black people. And that's how you actually create more racist stereotypes. Because my impression is that since that whole thing started, or at least over the past couple of years, you actually get more stereotypes against black people, like more prejudice created. People like, I would say, you didn't see people rioting and looting. You could still have some bigots here and there, some racist people saying, oh yeah, but I don't really trust black people because it's always them that we see in the crimes thing. You see them robbing people, stabbing people, etc. But when you see it live on TV every day, or like you see videos constantly on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook of black people attacking, abusing other people, what do you think is going to happen? We hold, like, if you're a reasonable person, you know that black people are not at heart, like, a majority, any people, nobody's, I would say, built to just go and be violent and abuse people and loot and burn businesses and cars and shit. We know that, like, if you've been around the world a bit, you know that it's not what black people do. But if you've never met any black person, and all you see is on the news or on social media, video of black people abusing, well, white people, police officers, whether they're black, white, yellow, whatever, your idea is going to be, okay, black people are the worst, let's stay away from them, which genuinely creates new racists. BLM is a race organization that actions leads to more division and is going to create more racist people against, that will be, well, more people that will be prejudiced against black people. So it's basically the opposite of what they claim to want to achieve. And again, bring you back to Dr. Peterson saying, if you want to know what an organization's goal is, or like what a person's goal is, don't look at what they're saying. Look at the outcome of their actions. And I don't think that's stupid. I don't think they think, oh, don't worry about us. We're just going to be hanging and chilling, maybe grab a few TVs here and there and just be on our way. It's like, no. Division seems to be the end game. And division is what's being achieved when you get black people calling other black people coons on the internet for no reason. Or for calling out the racist behavior of their supported organization. And funny about that is that among all these comments, I actually went through all of them. Do you want to know how many had any sort of, I don't know, conciliation, explanation, or like attempt at discussion? There was like about 20 quotes. And out of these 20 hate comments, tweets, or whatever, the count of those trying to have a conversation to maybe debate and say, oh no, I don't think BLM is racist because this, that, and that. The number of these is exactly 0. Fucking 0. None of them even tried to have a conversation. They just went, coon, 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 coon. Okay, if I'm not too lazy, I'll put a bunch of screenshots of all the tweets saying coon on the screen. That'll look pretty cool. And if I don't, well, whatever, because most people follow this podcast on Spotify anyways. So it's not like YouTube's gonna blow up for not having the coon screenshots in there. And if you really want to see them, you can go on my Twitter at Coding Nagger. Yes, it's not an I nor an E, it's an A, Nagger. On Twitter, and well, you could go on Instagram too, but I haven't been there for like 8 months, so there's no point really. So yes, again, I was saying, BLM, race organization, pushing actions that lead to more division and more racism in our society. That was my point really today. That's the message I want to get across to you guys. And that's the message that led me to get abuse from BLM people, showing, exactly the behavior that was calling out. So now, what can we do? Like, what you can do is sharing that video with people you know, so that can think for themselves and see what they really believe about BLM, or maybe revise their vision of that organization. Maybe that's the time when you can question yourself, think, okay, maybe I shouldn't stop at the slogan that says Black Lives Matter, but actually look at what are the people saying that slogan actually doing? Like, what are the consequences of these actions those people are doing? Because maybe, just maybe, it's going to make you take down that black square on Instagram. Maybe it's going to make you want to, call out the football teams that are going to walk around with a black armband, which, it's much easier to wear a fucking armband, or to put a black square on Instagram, or to write one tweet saying you support Black Lives, than actually investing in your community to do so, to show that you care. But yeah, like, more people care about looking good, looking like they're doing good by putting out a slogan to help, when really they're not doing anything. They're just trying to tell you they're better than you, which they're not. And at least, and that's the thing, you'd think, yes, but BLM, it started as a good thing. Probably. I'm guessing a lot of people that joined an association or organization, or people that signed up for the idea. Well, just like myself, really at the very beginning when I first heard about it, I thought, oh wow, that's an amazing initiative. This is great. But then you look at the majority of people that support it. I'm like, oh, that is not what I thought it was. This is just a bunch of people angry at the world that want to take away from others. And I can't stand behind that. And looking at the consequence of the actions from that organization, all I see is just racism. More racism and more division. Yeah. And well, you know what? This whole Twitter thing actually inspired me a poem that I wrote before this episode. So I'm just gonna end the episode by saying a few rhymes. A few rhymes for your entertainment, which also will help me flex my poetry muscles, which I haven't used that much recently, so let's drop these. Are you ready? Well, you can't really reply because, video or podcast, so you can't. But let's get started. So I called it, well, I didn't call it, but let's just jump into it. Black lives matter unless you think for yourself. No diversity of thought, it's us. We have a dream where black, white, Latinos, Chinese jump on our single think bus. We will chastise and shame if you don't look, nor think, nor behave exactly like us. Making up a symbol to group a bunch of nothing, a gesture, any real help is surplus. People worried about matching their coats with the BLM sign to look good, focusing their energy on getting attention rather than acting good. Something wicked this way came, shrieked and ruined everyone's mood, claiming to share a dream of equality while spitting where MLK stood. We don't know one another, I have no idea what each went through. Screaming, scratching away, the hate seems so strong with you. Looking for answers, becoming a victim, and these lies tricked you. This poison you drink, the poison you share, this will be the end of you. You missed the tolerance lesson we all got from Lilo and Stitch. Going around talking such a big game, but no show on the pitch. You turn out to be the racist you claim to hate, and that's rich. Look in the mirror, my error and my thoughts are my own. Bitch. This was Jean-Domingue for Maybe Daily. I will see you someday. Bye bye.